6 million years ago, Africa was nothing like the continent we know today. The climate was warm and humid, with regular rainfall. Vast forests stretched across the land, from Central Africa to the shores of the future Red Sea. In the east, where the first humans would one day appear, forests were beginning to retreat, giving way to savannas. This shift wasn't random. The Great Rift Valley had begun to open, and tectonic changes were transforming the regional climate. The eastern side grew drier, trees thinned and grasses spread, creating new landscapes and new opportunities for life, including for our ancestors. The world was ruled by now extinct creatures. Instead of big cats, massive predators called barbarophilids dominated, saber-toothed hunters with powerful forelimbs. Rivers and lakes were home to giant crocodiles like Crocodylus anthropophagus, capable of preying on large mammals. The land was roamed by early giraffes, rhinos, and antelopes, along with long-gone trunked animals like churagomps, somewhere between elephants and mastodons. Among them lived ancestors of hippos and pigs, who back then thrived in both forests and open plains. Our early ancestors were far from dominant. They occupied a fragile niche between the trees and the ground, avoiding both terrestrial and aerial predators. Their bodies were still adapted for climbing. Long arms, grasping toes, light skeletons, but something had begun to change. One of the earliest known transitional species is Sahelanthropus chidensis, whose skull was found in Chad and dates to around 6 to 7 million years ago. Its brain was no larger than a chimpanzee's, but the shape of the skull and the position of the foramen magnum, the hole where the spine connects to the skull, hint at upright walking. In bipedal creatures, this opening is located more centrally underneath the skull, and Sahelanthropus shows such a placement. It's not conclusive proof, but it's a compelling clue. Perhaps this creature already walked on two legs, not exclusively, but in combination with climbing. This points to a transitional phase, the early shift from life in the trees to life on the ground. It lived in a mosaic landscape, scattered forests, riverbank shrubs, and grassy clearings. Survival meant navigating between safe, food-rich cover and exposed zones with different resources: water, roots, carrion. Those who dared step into the open gained new opportunities and faced new threats. Bipedalism helped reduce vulnerability and freed the hands. It wasn't a revolution, but it marked an evolutionary turning point. Our ancestors likely weren't a single species, but a network of populations evolving in parallel across Africa. Some stayed in forests, others explored open ground. In hot climates, upright walking brought advantages. Standing bodies absorbed less heat, and greater height helped spot predators sooner. These traits became even more powerful in group-living species, where cooperation, protection of young, and shared knowledge boosted survival. Early hominin brains developed slowly. Between Sahelanthropus and Homo sapiens, nearly 6 million years passed, during which brain size tripled. But the changes weren't just in volume. Navigating complex habitats, remembering routes, interpreting social cues, making choices, all demanded mental growth. Even without tools or language, these beings could sense danger, recognize others, and learn from experience. The first sparks of a mind. Life was hard. During dry seasons, water vanished. Leaves fell and food became scarce. Natural selection favored those who were resilient and clever, who could dig for roots or find hidden springs. Perhaps this was the birth of the first kind of culture: imitation, mother-to-child teaching, recognition of faces and emotions. Group cohesion was no longer just instinct, it became a survival strategy. Anatomy continued to evolve. Around 4.5 million years ago, Australopithecus anamensis appeared, showing more confident bipedalism, but still retaining climbing traits. These were creatures that could travel far and possibly use simple objects. The most famous example, Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, lived around 3.2 million years ago. Evolution did not move in a straight line. Some branches ended in extinction, others passed on successful traits. Around 2.5 million years ago, Early humans began crafting stone tools. They used them to process meat and gather tough plants. This marked a turning point. From this moment, human evolution would be driven not only by biology, but by culture. But it had started much earlier, when someone first stood up among the trees and grasses of the Miocene. That ancestor didn't seek discovery or glory. It walked to find food, water, and safety for its young. Yet that step, literal and symbolic, set something in motion. Today we see ourselves, with computers, telescopes, satellites, and books, as the pinnacle of evolution. But every summit has roots, and those roots lie in African forests, where long ago a creature, half ape, half human, rose to its feet and took a step forward. Not knowing where it led, only that evolution always finds a way. One day that way became us.